Naloga. Now we start off with a look at the leader of opposition in Parliament, Matthias Mpuuga, saying that the Minister of State for Housing, Persis Namuganza, has a high hill to climb to stop the impending censure process by Parliament, with the members of the opposition given liberty to engage in the process. Mpuuga says the opposition group holds great interest in a process which will put Namuganza in the right place. He says the censure process, which was triggered by a report that found her culpable for misconduct, will instead help in the fulfillment of an earlier recommendation on the Naguru-Nakawa land, where she was found to have overstepped her powers to allocate the plots through a non-existent presidential directive. Mpuuga addressed the media on the key highlights of the year at Parliament, in which he singled out 5 major points: the abductions of NUP supporters, the continued incarceration of MPs Ssegirinya and Allan, Ssewanyana, insecurity, and the weak state of the economy.
In highlighting the gross human rights violations that the regime has chosen as a path of settling political disagreements. You are all alive to the history of this country, and the people had belief that the regime that came to power on account of past human rights violations will not do the same. Now we know that actually they never meant what they said more than 30 years ago. You are aware that up to now, the government has never responded, or has actually failed to respond to the so many questions you have raised in the Parliament and outside the Parliament about the disappearance of citizens, the violation of their rights, the killings on the streets. And as you are aware, even this week, at the prompting of the Deputy Speaker, the Prime Minister promised to come and make an account by way of comparing what we are questioning and what they know. And the last meeting was supposed to take place yesterday in the Deputy Speaker's chambers. None of the persons turned up to that meeting. Myself and my team, that included my Shadow Minister for Internal Affairs, including the NUP party spokesperson, Honorable Ssewanyana, Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi, Honorable Segona, we are all ready for the meeting. We waited, nobody showed up, nobody picked their calls. And on our side, we are moving to the next level. We have asked our attorneys to file habeas corpus for the 25 missing persons we logged in Parliament. Probably for those of you without the list, I've asked my team to share the list of the 25 for your information. They include even the dates and places where they were picked from. They are still missing. So the Prime Minister lied to the country that is going to explain. So yesterday, she disappeared, never showed up, made no phone call, made no contact. So after we have filed the habeas corpus for each of them, depending on how long this takes, we shall be able to inform the country officially that these be added on the list of the murdered and buried without trace. We have already secured habeas corpus for Chibalama John Bosco, who was abducted from Kanyanya on Gaza Road on 3rd June 2019. We have also secured for Kanata Muhammad, who was abducted on 23rd December 2020 from his home in Walusubi Mukono district. The 2 habeas corpus have been secured for them. And we are now waiting for the response of the agencies on which they have been served to respond. And when, depending on how they respond, we shall be able to inform the country the status of these citizens. But the country should be alarmed by the stance of the Prime Minister and her team. that they could lie to the country and instead they disappear and even have their phones off. That is the caliber of leaders that want to impress upon that they have the audacity.
A follow-up on the censure process will be shared in our subsequent